Hey guys, Cool Blind Way back. I'm Rick.
I'm Maggie.
We're back with Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex, the last episode of Season 1. It was a hell of a cliffhanger last time.
Oh, I'm just glad it wasn't the last episode of Season 1.
Yeah, and there's a whole Season 2. And I think there's a movie.
What point, though? I mean, like, our main character's dead, right?
I mean, what is death in this future where memories, bodies are temporary? And
Yeah, it's like that role-playing system where you just,
Eclipse phase?
Yeah.
Oh, I love me some Eclipse phase.
We should play that again.
We should. Good. We should play Ghost in the Shell in that.
Oh.
It'd work.
Yeah. I dibs on Bato.
Well, Bato he was right behind Major when she got sniped.
Which is weird that they were, like, going somewhere together, because I swear, like, from, like, previous interactions, they're, like, split, like, never see you again, have a good life sort of thing.
Yeah. We'll see. He certainly seemed upset, so I don't know if he's in on the plan exactly, how the Laughing Man is going to be involved in all this. What's going to happen to the rest of Section 9? One of them might be dead. There was, like, gunshots off screen, but the rest are just captured at this point. So, a lot to clear up. Only one episode to do it.
And they caused a lot of, like, peripheral damage. Yeah, it's like, you're not paying us anymore?
See what happens.
Cool.
I certainly watched in awe. Like the song says. What a great season. I can't imagine what the second one's going to be. I don't know how you top it.
I mean, there's lots of different, there's lots of things that they could continue to explore given the context of all this technology.
I mean, yeah. No, they definitely could. It's just...
So, were they just waiting for Togusa to, like, get depressed enough to get a gun and go to the headquarters?
Well, I think they needed to wait until they filed charges. I think that was the impetus to bring him in.
Yeah.
I think. It just was really rough on him. Man, so much to think about this episode.
It's amazing. It's like the person who they, set up as being, the weak link or whatever. Like, you're totally human. You're totally natural and such. They put him through the roughest shit.
Well, like they said, it was a tough situation with him, right? Like, he can't just swap to another body. He's got a wife and kid, so he can't just disappear. Like, there's leverage against him. So, like, he's got to be kept safe until all this is done and over with,
Yeah, physically. Just because he's, like, technically weaker physically... We've talked about it before. It's like his
not just physically, but his emotional connections. Like, none of the rest of them have any family.
Well, sure, but like, just saying, he went through a really tough time.
He did. They all did. Him especially. He's on the other side now.
Yeah.
Back in Section 9.
Get better. You're fine now.
He had a vacation.
Fuck that! Oh my gosh. Think of it as fuck you.
I mean, yeah. I don't think there's anything else they could have done. Had to be that way.
Had to be that way. It's like, I don't know, maybe a tiny bit of contact? Just like, hey.
I think that would have been too risky.
Leave a piece of paper in his shoe or something?
I mean, even now, like, I assume that car blew up that Yakushima opened up. I'm not even sure who that was. Like, there's so many things happening this episode. My mind was going so many places. I'm not even sure who that person was walking away from the car. If he's someone we know or not. But I could have just had an entire episode or season of Major and Laughing Man talking with each other.
Quoting authors back and forth each other, like they're trying to win an argument.
I mean, we know what Standalone Complex is now. Copies could be created despite the original having been gone, like disappeared because of it in use, not being used, basically, right? It's kind of like Merlin, right, where magic disappears once no one believes in it anymore. I kind of see it like that, but then copies can come from it that are a shadow of the original.
I kind of see it as like, there's the whole argument between like environment or genetics, basically.
Sure.
Of like who you are and such. And I kind of imagine maybe it's a little bit like a environment is set up that requires balancing, and the standalone complexes is like one person like comes up and fails, and the situation continues, and then just like in an effort to try to right itself, another person will just like come up, might fail. It'll just kind of keep gently happening until it finally happens. Maybe not to say that the universe is trying to get to like a perfect balance or anything like that, but just like sometimes a situation will just kind of summon people to fix it, almost, like, or people are gonna be bothered by it, so they'll just kind of, as long as it's still going on, there'll still be people that want to fix it.
Sure. Now I can see it applying in a bunch of different ways, like even meta, like to this show. Like, it's hard to say that it's a copy, but like Ghost in the Shell started as a manga, right? Mm-hmm. And it obviously takes from other works as well, but then there's the movie, and then this show is a copy of those. Like, it follows the same characters, but it's a completely different story,
But does it tell the same sort of stories that the original was trying to tell?
It does, but I think that's what makes it so poetic, in that it's called Standalone Complex, because it is like, it's like The Laughing Man, right? People are trying to, their understanding, and it's
trying to make sense.
Yeah, it's like religion as well. Like, people take something and then they bring their understanding to it and have an interpretation. Mm-hmm. And then go from there and make religions, or make the Standalone Complex anime show.
I also think it's really, one of the things that I really love about science fiction is that it's, you might not see the brilliance of it at the time. It might not, there's so much of it that's just like them talking about like what it is to be human, and philosophizing and such. Well,
if we ever get to the point where this is reality, like, it'll be really interesting to see.
I mean, I'd say a bunch of the freaking stuff happening in the show is reality right now.
Some of it
we just don't have the body augmentations.
Like, some of it isn't, but looking at it then, and I need to watch the whole season again.
Yeah.
Like, it's one of those, which it's my favorite kind of show or story or whatever, where like you appreciate it more the more you engage with it.
Yeah.
Like this, it feels a lot like Cowboy Bebop for me. Cowboy Bebop is not as heady as this is, but I always appreciate something more and get something deeper every time I see it. And I think that this show is going to be that to like a factor of 10.
Yeah. It's kind of like, it gives me the same sort of feeling I have listening to like certain music that I think it was like Major Tom to Ground Control, that David Bowie song. Mm-hmm. That the idea that someone who has never left the planet can write music that emotionally resonates and can describe feelings in a situation for something that they have never experienced,
sure,
nor will ever.
Now, one of my favorite examples of that is in the documentary No Direction Home, where there's this like gospel singer talking about Blowing in the Wind by Bob Dylan. Mm-hmm. It's like, how did this white man write this song? you know?
Yeah.
Like, how do you write this anthem for, like, people like me who are experiencing these things? Like,
and whenever, especially like that, where they were talking and like basically quoting authors back and forth to each other, it just gave me that same sort of feeling of like, these people, when they were writing, they did not know what the future was, but they had an understanding or an impression of the sort of processes a human would go through.
Well, that's what philosophy is, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's this, I mean, in philosophies, there are different philosophies on this, but if there are these core universal tenets as to what it is to be human, then the kind of questions and thoughts that we've had from the beginning, we still have those thoughts and questions now.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Like, there are some things that just are intrinsic to the human mind that language, society, you know, whatever, they're still things that matter to us enough to ask those questions.
And I feel like science fiction is just like an extension of that, where it's like, okay, it's like there's things that are just intrinsically human. What if we take away everything physical that makes a human and then ask those same questions again?
Yeah, it's the hero with 1,000 faces, right? It's just a different coat of paint on these stories and these questions and these moral quandaries that we've had from the beginning.
But that's why science fiction's, I will always be fascinated by it and all the arguments that it makes or dispels or whatever the stories are, as long as they're still doing that great exploration of
I don't want to spoil
us
too much, but the movie, I haven't read the manga, but the first Ghost in the Shell movie also talks, like, its big question at the end is, like, can a ghost exist without a body? So, like, Major here, she lived for a time in the web, it seems like kept completely separate from a body, and then was transferred over into a body, and like she was able to keep herself whole. And I love the idea of like curiosity restoring individuality. Where like I feel like obviously we don't have that sort of thing. We can't like mix memories with someone else or take our consciousness and put it into a digital form, but I feel like curiosity drives life forward, if that makes sense. Like, if you stop asking questions and if you just accept things as they are and you're stagnant, then like you stop living in a way.
Yeah, and especially with just like when we have just straight biological brains, it's like you'll never memorize everything, but as long as you know that the questions exist, you can look for answers. So finding a new question is way more exciting than finding an answer. So I definitely understand that. Totally agree. I'm glad everybody's okay.
Me too.
Everybody's alive.
I mean,
I was checking.
Physically okay. Togusa.
He's lost weight. He was starting to look like the chief.
He might take a little while to recover. Like, you know, how long did Bato cry for before he realized that the Major was alive? You know, how long
were they
did he
looking
mourn?
for her? Were they like all under the hoods, basically like, where is she? Where is she? Did they? Okay, I was wondering one thing. It's like, okay, so when they realized at some point, or however Major got out of the web, did somebody just have a body just plugged in, like unguarded or whatever, to the web? Like saying like, whatever comes in and fills it, I guess that's what it has.
Well, she's just a really good hacker. I think she could just do that and override most facilities.
So they set up a body with a password that only she would know.
I don't think they even need that.
Ah,
Like, I think she could hack most bodies.
but like, how do they know it's her then? Like, is it just because she really likes that face and there's like, oh yeah, that would be the Major?
Oh, I see what you're saying. I mean, they talk about like
That was one of her old ones, right?
one of her bodies.
Yeah.
I think so, but they like that model just seems to exist as well, I think.
Yeah.
And Major being cybernized for so long and like not having that attachment to a body necessarily, probably like she was probably able to do what she did partially because of that, partially because of mixing memories with the Laughing Man. Like Bato maybe would not have been able to do what she did, you know, just because he still has more of a connection.
Yeah. Work it out.
Would have been great if the Laughing Man joined. It's not to be.
I mean, he's out there.
He is out there. He's preserving written information.
Well,
which I think is something that we should probably always do going forward.
That makes sense.
I mean, digital information is so easy manipulatable, at least for current technology as it is now. But also for when the... Damn. What are they called? Fuck.
Tejikomas?
No. What is John Travolta in Battlefield Earth?
Oh, fudge.
He is a Cylon. When the Cylons...
Are you sure Cylons is from Battlestar Galactica?
Are they not Cylons? You gotta look.
I don't think you should look it up. You'll end up on a list somewhere. It's L. Ron Hubbard stuff, right?
Yeah.
Line between religion and...
Cyclos.
Cyclos, that's it.
When the Cyclos come and take over Earth, we're gonna need those books to read to learn how to fly the jet planes.
You need to tell people you're not serious right now.
I am very serious.
So why do you fight me so hard when I say, oh, how about like paper receipts?
Paper receipts?
Yeah. Hard copies. For accounting. Oh my gosh.
I absolutely love this show this season. Love the movie. You should watch the movie at some point. We have a whole second season to watch though.
Man.
But yeah, it's one of my all-time favorites, and I'm only going to enjoy it the more that I watch it.
Yeah, like I want to now watch it with like my dad and my sister who are also into sci-fi and such.
I want to watch it like every time I read a new philosophy book or anything. Like I want to watch it again.
Yeah. I'll be honest, like I looked up J.D. Salinger and I was like reading some of the stuff and it's like, man, it's like having not been like, you know, doing deep brain stuff for a while and then all of a sudden you just jump straight into that. It's like,
Well, I'll tell you,
it takes a lot of focus and concentration.
The Ghost in the Machine, which like all this is, at least the name comes from, and some of the ideas, like that was a tough read for me.
Oh, I was reading that. It's great. Like that made a lot more sense than like Banana Fish did.
Yeah, I don't know, but all right, that's gonna do it for us for now. We're gonna be back next week with season 2. We'll see you then. Thank you guys for watching our reaction to the first season of Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex. We're heading straight into season 2, so don't go anywhere. Make sure that you subscribe. We're trying to get to 1 million subscribers this year. You can help us get there. Watch it as it comes out, or head over to patreon.com/blindwave and watch the next 4 episodes right now.